There was something deeply intriguing and at the same time terrifying about the idea of exploring the Abyss Cave. The residents of the small town of Blackwood called her that. For generations, stories of mysterious disappearances and supernatural events had circulated around the cave, making it a place everyone avoided. However, for a group of curious and adventurous friends, the attraction of the unknown outweighed the fear. The group was made up of 4 inseparable friends: Alex, Mia, Chris, and Emma. They grew up together in Blackwood and had shared countless adventures, from camping in the woods to exploring old abandoned houses. Now, with the arrival of summer, they were eager for a new adventure, and the Abyss Cave became the target of their curiosity. On that hot July afternoon, as they gathered in a grove at the edge of the forest, Alex, the group leader, proposed the bold idea. He told the other 3 stories about the cave that he had heard from his grandparents. Stories of shadow guardians, sinister entities that protected the dark secrets of the cave, and the unexplained disappearances that have occurred over the years. Mia, the bravest of the group, was determined to prove that the stories were just baseless superstitions. She argued that no one had ever returned from the cave to tell the story, and the legends could just be a means of keeping children away from the place. Chris, the group's amateur scientist, was more skeptical but also intrigued. He saw the expedition as an opportunity to uncover the cave's mysteries and perhaps make a stunning scientific discovery. Emma, the most sensible of the 4, was worried about the dangers they might face, but she didn't want to disappoint her friends. She agreed to go, as long as they were careful and took all necessary precautions. After a brief debate, the group decided that the Abyss Cave adventure was underway. They equipped themselves with flashlights, backpacks, supplies, and courage. As they approached the cave entrance, a sense of apprehension enveloped them. The entrance was mossy and dark, as if nature itself was trying to hide the dark secret that lay beyond. Emma hesitated for a moment, but her friend's curiosity and determination convinced her to enter. She joined the others at the cave entrance, where Alex turned on his flashlight, illuminating the path ahead. Mia, Chris, and Emma followed, and the darkness began to swallow them, as if the cave was embracing them. The first steps into the cave were uncertain, and the air was damp and heavy. As they progressed through the dark, narrow corridors, flashlights revealed stalactites hanging like sharp claws from the ceiling. Drops of water dripped from the ceiling, echoing like whispers in the darkness. As darkness engulfed the group, they began to hear indistinct whispers, as if distant voices were trying to communicate with them. The whispers became more audible and pronounced, and a feeling that they were not alone in the cave began to envelop them. Chris, the skeptical scientist, tried to explain the whispers as the result of echoes off the cave walls. But as the whispers became clearer, they seemed to carry messages, words that whispered long-buried secrets. The atmosphere became tense, and Emma began to feel shivers run down her spine. They finally reached a wide chamber in the heart of the cave. The flashlights revealed something that horrified them. On the cave walls, ancient drawings depicted macabre rituals, shadowy figures, and mysterious symbols. The floor was covered in melted candles, strange objects, and offerings, suggesting the cave was used for supernatural rituals. It was as if they had entered a dark cult sanctuary. Mia, despite her courage, felt a wave of fear envelop her. She looked at her friends and knew they all shared the same feeling. Something was wrong in that cave, something that exceeded his expectations. They began to wonder if they should have ignored the warnings and continued exploring, or if it was time to turn back. That's when the flashlights started to fail. First Chris's, then Maya's, and finally Alex's. The darkness was complete, and the cave seemed to have different plans for them. The group found themselves in the dark, surrounded by the mysterious whispers and sinister figures on the walls. The feeling that they were not alone intensified, and they knew that something sinister was about to happen in the Abyss Cave. What awaits the group of friends in the darkness of the Abyss Cave? Will they be able to discover the dark secrets that the cave holds within? Or will they become yet another legend associated with this mysterious place? The answer to this terrifying question awaits deep within the dark cave. In the complete darkness of the Abyss Cave, the group of friends began to feel the weight of fear and uncertainty. The failed lanterns did not respond to his frantic efforts to light them. Now they were enveloped by darkness, as if the cave had a life of its own and had embraced them in its dark interior. The mysterious whispers that were previously indistinct began to intensify. They became more audible and clearer, as if voices were whispering ancient words directly into his ears. The words were unintelligible, but they carried an inhuman quality that sent chills down your spine. As the group moved cautiously into the darkness, they began to feel the temperature drop. The air was damp and cold, and their breaths became visible in small clouds of steam. Mia was sure she could hear soft, almost unsettling footsteps in the distance, as if something was watching them from the shadows. Suddenly, an inhuman murmur filled the cave. The friends turned in alarm to see shadowy figures moving in the darkness. The figures were dark and indistinct, like living shadows dancing in an ominous dance. The group retreated, terrified, but the figures continued to approach. It was as if the shadows had taken on a life of their own in the darkness of the cave. The friends couldn't believe what they were seeing. Emma, the voice of reason, tried to remain calm and suggested that perhaps it was just hallucinations caused by stress and the darkness. But Mia and Chris were convinced that what they saw was real. The shadows drew even closer, and the flashlights continued to be unresponsive. The shadowy figures emitted indistinct and unsettling murmurs. They seemed to watch their friends with eyes that glowed faintly in the darkness. In a moment of panic, Alex remembered a story he had heard about the Abyss Cave. The cave was said to be inhabited by supernatural entities who did not like intruders. They were known as the Shadow Guardians and protected the cave's secrets with ferocity. The friends realized they were in danger. With flashlights useless and darkness encroaching, they decided to run deeper into the cave, hoping to find a way out. The darkness seemed to close in around him, as if the cave was changing, turning into an ominous labyrinth. Every step they took seemed to take them deeper into the darkness. The corridors multiplied, as if the cave itself was playing with them. They began to feel lost and disoriented. The mysterious whispers continued to haunt them. The group found itself in a desperate situation. They knew they couldn't continue advancing without flashlights, but they also knew that the shadows were approaching quickly. Every shadowy movement in the dark was a constant reminder that something sinister inhabited the Abyss Cave. What awaits the group of friends deep in the cave? Will they be able to escape the Shadow Guardians and find a way out, or will the darkness of the cave become their final tomb? The answer to this terrifying question awaits in the depths of the dark cave. As the group of friends continued to run deeper into the Abyss Cave, the darkness seemed to close in on them, as if the cave itself wanted to hold them prisoner. The mysterious whispers still echoed in his ears, filling the air with an otherworldly aura. The feeling that something sinister was watching and following them did not disappear. The shadows seemed to move closer, their dark shapes almost tangible in the darkness. The friends were in a constant state of alert, their minds filled with fear and distrust. Finally, the group stumbled upon a large underground hall. In the center of the hall, a crack in the rock emitted a faint light that shone like a beacon of hope. The friends ran toward the crevasse, their useless flashlights now weighing down their backpacks. The dim light provided a welcome relief from the oppressive darkness. As they approached the crack of light, a whispering voice began to echo in the cave. It was a soft and melodious voice, almost mesmerizing. The voice offered a deal: accept our pact, and the shadows will let you pass. But remember, every pact has a price. The group hesitated, looking at each other with fear-filled eyes. They knew that making a pact with the shadows was dangerous, but they were trapped and had no other option. Reluctantly, they agreed to accept the pact. Immediately, the shadows began to move away, retreating deeper into the cave. As the darkness dissipated, the friends could see the shadows writhing and undulating as if they were alive. The group advanced through the crack of light, feeling they had made the right choice. As they walked forward, they could feel the shadows watching them closely, as if they had become part of the sinister pact. The feeling of being watched never left them, but at least now the shadows were contained. The cave continued to change its shape, as if it were alive. The corridors seemed to adapt and multiply, making navigation almost impossible. The friends knew that the cave was not just a set of dark passages, it was a being in itself, a being that wanted them to get lost within itself. After hours of exploration, they finally found a way out. They emerged from the cave into a forest clearing, and daylight greeted them with relief. They were free from the darkness, but the price they paid for the pact with the shadows was clear. The clearing was illuminated by moonlight, and the friends hugged each other, relieved to be alive. However, they also knew that the shadows were now part of their lives, a constant presence that would haunt them. The price of the pact was unknown, but they knew they would have to face it sooner or later. The months following his escape from the Abyss Cave were marked by a persistent feeling that something was wrong. Friends began to notice dark shadows moving in the corners of their eyes, as if something followed them wherever they went. The mysterious whispers continued to torment them even when they were far from the cave. The shadow curse they had accepted as part of the pact began to affect them. Their friendships frayed as distrust and paranoia took hold. Disturbing nightmares haunted them every night, revealing eerie visions of the Abyss Cave and the Guardian. The months following their escape from the Abyss Cave were marked by a persistent feeling that something was wrong. Friends began to notice dark shadows moving in the corners of their eyes, as if something followed them wherever they went. The mysterious whispers continued to torment them even when they were far from the cave. The shadow curse they had accepted as part of the pact began to affect them. Their friendships frayed as distrust and paranoia took hold. Disturbing nightmares haunted them every night, revealing sinister visions of the Abyss Cave and the Shadow Guardians. Alex, the leader of the group, was the first to succumb to the curse. His sanity slowly crumbled, and he spent hours in the darkness, muttering unintelligible words. The group tried to help him, but he became increasingly unreachable and terrifying. Mia, Chris, and Emma, feeling helpless in the face of the curse, decided to return to the cave to find a solution. They knew that the cave was the epicenter of the sinister pact, and that perhaps they could find a way to break it. As they entered the cave once more, they were greeted by the Shadow Guardians, who seemed more powerful and hostile than ever. The friends begged for a solution, but the shadows only whispered indecipherable words. However, amid darkness and despair, they found an ancient inscription on the cave walls. It was an enchantment that promised to free them from the pact, but it would require a significant sacrifice. Mia, Chris, and Emma agreed to make the sacrifice, determined to save their friend and themselves. The enchantment was cast, and the shadows retreated, releasing Alex from his torment. However, the price of sacrifice was high, and they had to leave something behind in the cave, something that now belonged to the shadows. The group emerged from the cave once again, but the darkness had taken its toll. They knew the shadows would continue to haunt them, but now at least they had a chance to survive. The story of the Abyss Cave has become a frightening legend in the local community, reminding everyone of the dangers of messing with supernatural forces and accepting dark pacts. The shadow curse would never leave them completely, a constant reminder of their terrifying experience deep within the cave. This cave horror story explores the limits of human courage and the dangers of facing the unknown. The friends learned the hard way that not all secrets should be revealed and not all pacts should be sealed. The Cave of the Abyss remains a grim reminder of their frightening journey into the bowels of the earth.